Hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this interactive session where we'll be focusing on supply chain strategic partnerships. I would like to crave your indulgence that we leave another 5 minutes or so to allow some of our guests to arrive. We do know that some of our speakers are already here, so thank you so much for making the time and coming very early. So I'd like to please crave your indulgence. Let us just keep 5 minutes or so for people to arrive, and then we'll get started. I'll get started. Thank you very much.
Hello, 1, 2.
One, two.
Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Mic check, 1 2. Hello, 1 2. 1 2. 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Hello, mic check, mic check. Hello, 1 2. 1 2. Standing by. Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2.
So ti wa okay, no problem. Sori èyí tó lè burú jù ní pé kí wọ́n má rọrọ̀ sọ ìdẹ̀ ti perfect.
Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Sincere apologies for the late start, but as you know, very often at events like this, there's a delicate balance between trying to make sure that we start on time and allowing others to arrive. But I think that we are in the middle of that now, so I think it's about time we get started. So once again, I want to say a big welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us for this interaction on supply chain strategic partnership. And we are trying to link this conversation to entrepreneurship in Nigeria. My name is Wale Famrewa. I'm delighted to be taking you through today's program. And we look forward to learning, we look forward to interacting, we look forward to networking, so you're all welcome. Before we proceed, I just want to recognize a few people who are with us today as we get started, starting with the Special Advisor to the Governor of Lagos State on Sustainable Development Goals, Dr. Mrs. Sholakpe Hammond. It's a pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you for the applause. We also have joining us the Managing Director of Inland Containers Nigeria Limited, Mr. Adekola Ismail Yusuf. It's a pleasure to have you join us. And of course, as you can see, Icnl is our lead sponsor for today's program, so we really appreciate you for your partnership today. We also have Mr. Chuka Ofo, Executive Director at Icnl, also with us today. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us. We also have the Controller of Customs, Mr. Mohammed Babatunde, also with us today. It's a pleasure to have you. And we have directors of the Nigeria-Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry also with us, Mr. Kingsley Odiana. And we have Mr. Wale Aje Shekutu also. Ade Shekutu? Yes, he's here with us as well. It's a pleasure to have you, sir. Thank you very much. And as I round up, we also have the GM of Neroli Technologies, Mr. Adekunle Ajayi, also with us. It's a pleasure to have you. And we have Mr. Omije Ediogon, who is the Managing Director and CEO of Digital Web Application Development. We really appreciate you all joining us, and we also want to acknowledge our virtual audience that are joining us to participate in today's program. You're all very welcome. So, I would like to now yield to someone who I think is in a better position than I to sort of set the tone for today's program. He is none other than the president of the Nigeria-Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Please, with an applause, welcome Mr. Ishmael Balogun for his opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to have you all seated here. I know that your time is precious, and we do not take any of that for granted. So good morning to all those that has been recognized members of the Nigerian Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and our distinguished guests. It's truly a pleasure to have you with us. So my speech is brief, and we intended to make it like that so that we can move right along. Pleasant morning to you all. I welcome all our guests to this monthly breakfast meeting. We want to especially recognize the presence of the directors and the Board of Advisory for our great chamber, the Nigerian Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Seated with us now, Mr. Kingsley just walked in. Mr. Kingsley Odiana, can you please stand up for recognition? Thank you so much. We also have our Board of Advisory, Mr. Kemi Ajishebutu with us as well. Please stand up for recognition. Thank you. And in our midst, we have members of the Nigerian Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry as well. We are indeed grateful for all your support and contributions in achieving all that we set out to do year in, year out. We also appreciate the presence of the Managing Director of the Inland Containers Nigeria Limited in the person of Mr. Ismail Adekola Yusuf. Sir, once again, thank you for your support. Can you stand up for recognition, sir? Thank you again. Again, in our midst, we cannot ignore our partnership and collaboration with the Lagos State Government, especially as we have with us the Special Advisor on Sustainable Development Goals and Investment, Dr. Mrs. Shola Kuyamo. Thank you to have you again. It's a pleasure to have you here. We also appreciate the representatives of the Nigerian Customs Service, the Nigerian Port Authority, NAFDAC, the Quarantine Neroli Technologies. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. And the Federal Produce. The Nigerian Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry has planned an extensive and engaging calendar for our esteemed members and the Nigerian business community in general. Starting with this breakfast meeting, on this very day that we're doing now, we're taking you through a lot in March 2023. From the 16th of March to the 18th, we're having what we call the Indonesian Mini Expo. This will be taking place at the Indonesian Trade Promotion Center in Victoria Land, Lagos. This expo promises to bring in Indonesian manufacturers into Nigeria You would have the opportunity to meet with them, their products, their services, and we're taking this opportunity to invite businessmen and women in Nigeria to come in and engage with these manufacturers. We do this on a continuous basis, continue to do what we are assigned to do, which is to promote bilateral trade and investment and tourism between Nigeria and Indonesia. At this same event, to the general audience, the Indonesia government has graciously agreed to provide scholarship to Nigerian students who are looking to further their higher education. And these are fully paid, education all around Indonesia. So we have shared some information on our social media platform. We encourage you to look at them, and if you think you know someone that might benefit, we want you to share that with them so that they can apply in due time and be a recipient of this great opportunity. Also, there's opportunities in tourism. I know a lot of you have heard about Indonesia, Jakarta, Bali. Bali, for one, is the #1 travel tourism destination in the entire world. It brings together everyone from around the continent. And I can tell you, in June this year, we're taking no less than 150 people to Bali. I should let you know it's not free. Yes, thank you. I should let you know it's not free, but we have arranged a very fantastic opportunity, what we call a one-stop shop. So basically, you don't even need to give us your passport. All we do require from you is your copy of the passport data page, your copy of the COVID certification, and your passport photograph. We, as the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we work directly with the Indonesian Embassy in Nigeria and the Indonesian ambassador in Jakarta. And we can tell you authoritatively, within a period of 7 days, your visas are out. Again, you're not leaving your office, you're not submitting any passport. This is electronic visa. So once it's ready, you have your ticket and you're good to go. Interestingly enough, amongst the members of the chamber, we have no less than 5 travel and tourist companies. So everything you need is literally in-house. So you don't need to worry. So booking your hotel, getting your ticket, getting your visa, logistics in Indonesia, we have that all covered for you. Thank you very much. On the 27th of March, 2023, once again, the Nigerian Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry will be hosting what we call the Nigerian Economic Outlook post the general elections. So we're all aware that everybody is tense because elections is coming up. What we are trying to do is post-elections, how do you position your businesses so that you can make what we call an informed financial and economic decisions. To this extent, we have basically partnered with a renowned economist. His name is Mr. Bismarck Rewani, and he will be the one that will be facilitating that very forum for us. Again, we encourage you to spread the word and invite your friends, colleagues, business associates to join us. We're going to be hosting that event in this very hall on the 27th of March 2023. Now, we go back to June. In between all this, every month, we would have our chamber monthly meeting. And again, like I said, this month is being sponsored by Icnl. So April, we have another member of the chamber who was already scheduled to host that. Same thing goes for May. Peradventure, if we have people in this audience that might be willing to take that up, my team are on standby. Just share your details with them, and we'll find a way to more than accommodate you. Thank you once again. So in June, from the 14th to the 21st of June, 2023, like I said, we're taking you to Bali. And the focus of this very event in Bali is the 9th edition of the Beyond Bali Travel Fair. Now, this very event caters to a lot of people in the travel and tourism industry, and also the event planning industry. So you might not know, but a lot of Nigerian weddings are now taking place outside our shores. Bali being a beautiful destination, I mean, you don't need to do too much event decoration because the environment itself is already inspirational. So you have a lot of our event planners, from your birthdays to wedding anniversaries to just plain tourism. Bali is the right place for you. So from the 14th of June to the 21st, like I said, we want to take you guys on an excursion to Bali. So what is beautiful is that you can actually plan your family vacation about the same time. Your wife, your husband, your children, instead of UK, US, that's boring. Let's do something new. Let's take you to Bali. So welcome to join me. Thank you very much. In October 2022, we graciously welcome you to the 38th edition of the Indonesian Trade Expo. So for the last 38 years, the Indonesian government has hosted the Trade Expo continuously year in, year out. I believe the only time we had a break was during the COVID season. 2020, we had to do that online. We couldn't travel to Indonesia. But this year, we're going back to Indonesia in October. And at the same time, so this is a 2-in-1 package. You get to attend the Trade Expo like we did in 2022. And then we have the Nigerian Indonesian Investment and Trade Forum, which basically is an engaging exercise for businessmen and women once again to engage with their Indonesian counterparts, both on the federal, state, and local level, and begin to do the business we've set out to do. Areas of focus include, but not limited to, agriculture, renewable energy, digital economy, fast-moving consumer goods. Again, in our community in Nigeria, you go to supermarkets, some of the products you're buying on a daily basis are from Indonesia. So we want to explore more with this same country. 2021, our trade balances between the two countries was $2.6 billion. Our target for 2023, December, is to bring that number up to $4 billion at the end of the year. In all this, we will continue to host our monthly breakfast meetings, master classes, attend several other events, because just like we are doing this very event, our members who are professional businessmen and women have events all through the year as well. So we will continue to share that information with you, and we encourage you to participate. These events are both in Nigeria and outside of our shores. So it could be in UK, it could be in Spain. Our duty is to continuously bring value to our members and the Nigerian business community. In all this, we will continue to count on your support and collaboration. I once again want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. We do not take your time for granted. And I hope today, the transactions we're doing today, the conversations we're having, can have a positive impact on your businesses. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Icnl Balogun. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balogun, for setting the tone for us with those introductory and opening remarks. And for the avoidance of doubt, the trip to Bali is not free. I think he has clarified that. But I can tell you for sure, for free, that it is a great destination. I mean, I had the opportunity of visiting Jakarta last year for the maiden edition of Nigeria-Indonesia Investment and Trade Forum. It's a great place to be, I can assure you. And I hear Bali is even better, so you certainly want to be there. Moving on now, I would like to now invite to deliver, if you like, a goodwill message and some introductory brief remarks, the Special Advisor to the Governor of Lagos State on Sustainable Development Goals. Please welcome Dr. Mrs. Sholakpe Hammond.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm sure a few people might have noticed me laughing every time they said Dr. Mrs. Sholakpe Hammond. Although there are probably, now I think about 16 people with doctorates in the cabinet. I'm not one of them yet. So I'm just Mrs. Sholakpe Hammond for now. but maybe it's a message to me to get started on my academic endeavors. But a very good morning to everyone, the board and management of the Nigeria-Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, especially the president, my fantastic brother, Mr. Icnl Balogun, who has also delighted me this morning. It was a previously sore point. I had the privilege of studying in Singapore in 2009, and I attempted to go to Bali. And they told me it would take a month to process my visa. So perhaps this is now the opportunity. So it will cease to be a sore point. So I'm really excited to hear about this trip. And whether we can discuss that free. It may not be free for all, but it may be free for some. You know? Let me put my good vibes out there. The directors, the advisory board, everyone on the board of this and in the management of this amazing chamber that's doing so much. Very exciting to hear about your growth plans, $4 billion. I'm very happy to be part of helping to facilitate that. The Comptroller of Customs in Lagos, thank you very much for being here. Captains of Industry, especially our sponsor, Alhaji Yusuf. You're responsible for our tea, coffee, and breakfast this morning, so thank you very much, in addition to the good work that you're doing. Esteemed members of the chamber, gentlemen and ladies of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really honored and privileged to be here and very excited. Very business-like event and very focused on the things we're focused on. So while my portfolio is dual, most people talk about the SDGs a lot, but I like money, so I'm very, very big on the investment part. So it's always a pleasure to be at these investment events. Of course, as is typical, I'd like to start by talking about Lagos. It's clear that there's quite a deep relationship between Lagos and Indonesia, or between Nigeria and Indonesia. But of course, I would always love to talk about Lagos. Lagos is the jewel in the eye of Africa, the center of excellence in Nigeria, and indeed a national asset. Lagos is home and hub to businesses in West Africa. More than 30 to 40% of the commercial activity in Nigeria is estimated to take place in Lagos. The home of the financial sector, the capital markets, the money markets is Lagos, and it's really now it's a growing hub for technology and of course entrepreneurship. So in that regard, we're very similar to Jakarta. We can see a lot of similarities between Nigeria and Indonesia, and maybe that's what makes for a natural and very, very exciting partnership. Like Jakarta, we're also we're the most populous city in the country. We're climate challenged as well. We're also, of course, the hub of industrialization. So Nigeria, like Indonesia, has an amazing abundance of natural resources. A lot of those resources abound in many other states in Nigeria, but Lagos is where we like to add significant value to them. And of course, a lot has been said about tourism and hospitality. That's also another area for us, a massive area of interest for us in Lagos. And so I think this is a very, very beautiful partnership in the making. Lagos is a real investor's haven. More than 76 to 80% over the last 5 years of investments that come into the country come into Lagos. So you can imagine, Lagos is very critical to what happens in the rest of the country. And so, as I've said, we have a lot of comparative advantages, very similar to Indonesia, which form a very good basis for partnership. And for us in Lagos, our development agenda over the last 4 years have been the themes agenda. I'm sure many people have heard what that is now and maybe can recite along with me. So it's transport and traffic management, because in the city, and Indonesia has that experience, being, I think, is it the fourth most populous country in the world. Nigeria might overtake you in the next 50 years, the rate at which we're going, but we have similar challenges. So we know one of the key priorities is moving our people. And then we have healthcare and the environment, again, environmentally challenged, but also having to make sure that all of those number of people stay healthy and alive, very critical, same for us. And then we have education and technology. It's critical that our people are trained and are ready to take their place in this 21st century economy. And very excited to hear about the scholarships that are being offered by Indonesia. Then making Lagos a 21st century economy, making this a real hub, a livable place, somewhere people want to live and do business in and have fun in, because as Nigerians, we love to have fun. So food, making sure there's food security, making sure commercial activities can go on and grow exponentially, making sure there's power. and just making sure housing, making sure all the elements of livability are there. Then entertainment and tourism, again, we can't underscore that enough. And of course, security and good governance, because without that, none of this is going to happen. And so for us, you know, those are the building blocks. But a lot of those are very, very aligned to the theme of today, which is supply chain strategic partnership. And again, of course, the ideal business solution for entrepreneurs. For us, the MSMEs and the businesses that operate in Lagos are the lifeblood of the state. And so this, for us, is a very, very interesting and important topic. And so I will be listening very closely to all that we have today. When we talk about value chains, over the last few decades, we've seen them become exponentially complex and increasingly globalized. But then as the last few years have actually unfolded, with what happened in COVID, with Brexit, where we're seeing breaking up of traditional blocks, we're seeing more tensions in Europe, and we're seeing competition for hegemony. So the US and China, you know, as countries ascend and become bigger, we see that there are potential opportunities for new partnership and new value chains. Should we be thinking fully global, or should we be looking at localized hubs? And we think there's a significant opportunity here for Nigeria. And the best way to capitalize on that opportunity is to partner with countries that are amenable to us, that are similar to us, that are also looking to continue to scale on the global scene and can help us to walk that path that they've already walked slightly ahead of us. And so countries like Indonesia, with population, I think have the best advantage, like Nigeria. We have the manpower, we have the brain power, and we have the buying power. And so for us, it's a very exciting combination, and it's good to work with those who are like us. For me, I think this is the impetus behind the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. It's Africa's place to create a single market of 2 billion people, and at least double the value chain exchange, so the export and trade, from a very dismal 16.6% that it's at least double that over the next few years. And so for us as well, while Africa is making that play, those of us who already have large consolidated markets also have to be careful. There's the risk that we can become the target output market. We don't want to be the target market for sales. We want to be the target market for developing these opportunities. And that really is the play that Lagos is interested in. So again, these partnerships, hearing about the exchanges, hearing about bringing industrialized possible players who are interested in industrializing here to work with us to build that capacity here, because we're looking at Lagos not as a market but as an export hub. That's really our own agenda, and so these partnerships are very critical. For us, and what is the role of the government in all of this? It's ensuring that we put in place the required priority infrastructure zones, and Lagos has the highest number of free zones in the country, 8 free zones, creating the right logistic corridors, and Lagos has gone now from being largely, or we're trying to transit from being largely road network driven, which is, you know, what more than 90% of our traffic used to be 5 years ago, to diversifying to rail and to water. We've done significant work on the waterways, trying to commercialize 10 routes, built so many jetties, ferries, and trying to work with private sector operators to develop that space. Now, I know Indonesia is very famous for building trains, cargo and freight, and even small aircraft. I haven't seen so much about water, but seeing as it's largely water, I'm sure they're doing a lot in the watercraft area as well. So I think this could be a significant area of partnership, our transport sector partnerships. And of course, the free zones, which then make it easy for businesses to come into the country. We also have to identify winning sectors, and we've done that in our 2052 development plan. Lagos has actually made a plan for the next 30 years to make it easy for people to understand where we want to go and for them to be able to figure out their role in that. And a lot of these sectors, as I said, are very aligned to the things that are interesting to Indonesia. And then, of course, funding. As we explore lots of interesting funding opportunities, there are also opportunities to partner with us in that area. And then lastly, as I keep saying, the MSMEs, the small and medium, micro, small and medium scale enterprises, and building talent are going to be the building blocks for all these things that we want to achieve. And so, To keep it short and simple, because this is supposed to be a goodwill message and not a keynote address, the message is very simple. We're excited about this partnership. We think Indonesia is the kind of country that we should be partnering with. We thank the Chamber of Commerce for the good work that they're doing. I mean, all the activities are impressive. It will be great to get your calendar and to sync it with ours. And of course, you know, my Bali trip now is now high on my agenda. But on a more serious note, just to say we're willing to be partners with you. You're walking in the same direction that we want to go in. And, you know, as we say in Africa, we want to go far, so we go together. Thank you very much. Again, on the last note, to teach maybe our Indonesian partners who may be online a little bit of Yoruba in preparation for when we get there. Igbega Eko, Ajumoshe Gbogbowani. What that means is it's a joint endeavor to develop Lagos, and we're really happy to have you as partners in this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sholakwe Hammond. And since you mentioned that it seems quite a few people have addressed you as doctor, so perhaps it's prophetic. So we'll see what happens in the future. Thank you so much for that goodwill message. Very valuable. And it's clear that Lagos is looking to partner with Indonesia and, of course, the broader Nigeria-Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Moving on now, I'd like to now welcome, and you know, sometimes when you write things down, you sort of mix things up a bit. So I actually, unfortunately, sadly, butchered his name the last time. So I will get it right this time as I welcome him to deliver a brief remark as we move on with today's program. He's the Controller of Customs. Please welcome Mr. Mohammed Babandede.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once more, I am Controller Mohammed Babandede, Custom Area Controller, Lily Pond Export. I will restrict myself to the business of export. When I was invited that there is going to be a meeting, Nigeria-Indonesia Chamber of Commerce are expected to meet a lot of talk or a lot of people that are into the business of export. Unfortunately, the president, I've not seen a lot of people that are into export, and you have not said anything about export from Nigeria to Indonesia. And I expected in the future you'll explore that. One of our key principles is partnership with the private sector, entrepreneurs, encourage exportation or encourage entrepreneurs that are interested in investing in Nigeria. Because of this, in the history of Nigeria, the export community was awarded with a command of custom of itself, dedicated to the business of export, with the sole aim of facilitating and promoting the business of export out of this country. That is the command I'm heading. Nigerian Customs Service won't see exportation out of this country, because for a country to be among the top economies, which we have the potentials, we have to export, we have to manufacture goods and services. We cannot be a country of import and import. Therefore, the president, look at Nigeria. We have a lot of opportunities. Explore the market, the potentials. This country has the potential to be among the top 10 economies of the world. I have seen it. So do everything possible, encourage exportation. We are here to facilitate the business of export. We are here to partner with you to encourage exportation. Initially, before the setting up of this export command, which I'm heading, it was very difficult for exporters to access Lagos ports. As was rightly said by the special advisor to the governor, 80% of our import and export goes through the Lagos ports. You know what it means? It's huge. It was very difficult because of accessibility. Because of that, we are having a lot of rejection. Some of the export consignments were rejected at the destination by the off-takers. Now, with the coming of Lily Pond Export Command, this has been streamlined. this has been fast-tracked. I'm assuring you, within 24 to 48 hours, your container can access to the port of loading once you are ready. So on behalf of Nigerian Customs, we are here, or we are willing to partner with you. We are willing to partner with you. If there's anything that has to do with export or import, you can see we have two controllers to show you how important this event is. I am in charge of export. He is in charge of import. If there's anything that has to do with customer, how we are going to partner with you, how we are going to promote your business, we are most willing to do that anytime. Thank you so much for giving me the honor.
Thank you very much, sir. Very valuable to see the various... just a moment, sir. We'll get an opportunity to interact as an audience. But I was just saying, it's really valuable to see all the various stakeholders in logistics, supply chain, exports, imports, participating in today's program. I also am aware that the regional director for the Nigeria Export Promotion Council is with us. My apologies, sir. I do not have your name, but it's a pleasure to have you here. Mr. Folorunsho Akintoye. Please, can we give him a round of applause? Thank you very much. So if you don't mind, I understand there is room for you in the front, so please, if you can make your way to the front. Thank you, sir. All right, so as we get into, if you like, the main aspect of today's program, I'd like to now welcome to deliver his presentation as we unpack today's theme, Supply Chain Strategic Partnership, an ideal business solution for entrepreneurs. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him. He is the CEO of Icnl, Mr. Ismail Adekola Yusuf.
Good morning. The Special Assistant to the Governor of Lagos State on Sustainable Development, Goals and Investment, the Mr. President, Nigeria-Indonesia Chamber of Commerce, the Controller, Babandede, in charge of export, the other controller, get to know your name, and other members that I don't have your details now. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to present to you the paper presentation on supply chain partnership, an ideal business solution for entrepreneurship. Before I go into details, I would like to appreciate the President of Nigeria-Indonesia Chamber of Commerce for a wonderful job. He has been active in seeing that Nigerians are moving on in terms of business relationship with other countries, not only Indonesia, but other countries in the world. And he has been active in this by bringing members into these chambers so that Nigeria can benefit from his wealth of his experience. Thank you, Mr. President. So the agenda for today is number 1, understanding supply chain. 2, supply chain processes or practices. The partnership scheme, modernization of the sector, downtimes and economic effects, Icnl solution methods, our offer services and our attractions, and why is Icnl? To start with, the meaning of supply chain. Supply chain today, it involves the entire system of producing and delivering a product or service. From the very beginning stage of sourcing the raw materials to the final delivery of the product to end users. What I mean by this, for every business, most especially in Nigeria,